Alright guys, so very quickly before we get on to actually talking about Creature Commandos, episodes 5 and 6, as I have to catch up on episode 5 from last week and then talk about episode 6 from this week. But before we get to that, there was a little bit more news coming out from Creature Commandos, and that is that it has officially been renewed for Season 2. Now, we'll get to what I think the implications of this are in just a little bit, but we'll first read out the press statement that came out of DC and came from James Gunn and Peter Safran first. So, this is what Peter Safran and James Gunn said in a statement. It says here, quote, "We're thrilled to team up with Max for another season of Creature Commandos. From our spectacular first season of Peacemaker to the astounding run of the Penguin to the record-breaking launch of Creature Commandos, Max has consistently delivered above industry expectations and beyond our wildest imaginings. Thank you, Casey, Sarah," and then it goes on to thank a bunch of other people from DC for your continued support, for your tremendous support of DC Studios. We are proud to call Max home. That's basically all this announcement is, that, you know, Creature Commandos will be renewed for a second season here. Max goes on to basically say, you know, they're thankful for the collaboration between DC and Max, and that's about all there is. So, really, not a whole lot to talk about here. I think, really, I wanted to talk about this in the sense of, yes, this is news in the fact that Creature Commandos Season 2 is going to be another thing to add onto the DC slate. It's also an indication that they are going to be focusing on Season 2s, which Marvel, you know, was hesitant to do at first, and now it seems like they're getting on board with that as well. So that's exciting, I guess, from the DC front. But really the other thing, I guess this is the more cynical side of me, where, yeah, if James Gunn is in charge of DC, then, you know, if Creature Commandos does well, because I think James Gunn is not the kind of person to stick his head in the sand and be like, well, Creature Commandos bombed, but we're going to make we're going to make a second season here because I'm in charge and I get to make what I want to make. I don't think that that's true necessarily, but I also think the flip side of that is that, yeah, if James Gunn sees the validation from people, sorry about the sirens in the background, by the way, it's something's going on outside, but if James Gunn sees the validation here from people and he's like, yeah, well, we see the numbers here from Creature Commandos, then of course he's going to make a second season. It's a no-brainer, right? If it's something that he wanted to do, then it's a no-brainer to make Creature Commandos Season 2 because he's in charge. He's the one who's greenlighting all these things. He's talked about in interviews recently, he's like, yeah, I'm the one greenlighting things. And so, of course, you know, easy decision, right, to greenlight Creature Commandos Season 2. So that's the cynical side of me. But, you know, the flip side is that, yeah, I mean, people seem to like the show. I don't think I'm necessarily one of them. I think that the show is fine for what it is. But at the end of the day, I think if it's something that people are getting enjoyment out of, and if it's something that James Gunn finds a lot of enjoyment out of, then of course it's going to get a second season. And we'll have to see. You know, I haven't even seen, at the time of the recording of this segment, I haven't even seen the ending of Creature Commandos, so I don't even know who makes it out of the series alive. And so we'll have to even see what the roster might look like. It might just be a completely different roster of Creature Commandos. But at the end of the day, you know, it's fine. It's expected news, I think, based on the fact that Creature Commandos seems to be doing well with critics. And viewership-wise, it seems like they're pretty happy with it. So guys, before we get into Creature Commandos itself, episodes 5 and 6, let me know in the comments down below if you'd be excited for a season 2 of Creature Commandos and what you'd be looking forward to most from that series.